Hermès, once the untouchable giant of haute couture and old money elegance, is now caught in the kind of firestorm no silk scarf can cover up. What started as whispers from overseas suppliers has now exploded into a full-blown scandal. Allegations of grotesque corporate greed are rocking the brand to its core. Chinese manufacturers, some of whom once operated in the shadows, have now allegedly pulled back the curtain and revealed what could be one of the biggest luxury scams of the decade. And just as Hermès was scrambling to tighten its grip on the narrative, the American legal system knocked on the front door. A damning class action lawsuit filed in California doesn't just question Hermès' sales practices, it threatens to detonate the entire mystique of how their most iconic bag, the Birkin, is sold. What was once a behind-the-scenes whisper campaign about gatekeeping and manipulation is now being shouted in legal briefs and courtroom filings. This isn't just a story about one brand, it's about the luxury industry as a whole being dragged out of its marble showroom and into the digital courtroom of Gen Z watchdogs, viral whistleblowers, and consumer activists who are done playing nice with overpriced status symbols.
These are pieces of artwork. These artisans train years and years to make one of these bags.
Fabrice is doing the last stitching on a Kelly bag. A Kelly takes around 13 hours to be made, depending on the materials that we make it. Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag.
Well, Hermes says, made in China, does it feel cheaper? No, that's not a quality issue. It's luxury brand washing.
Hermes, you guys, it's time to show off your factories. No, I don't want to wait to go on YouTube and watch a beautiful documentary on. Show them off right here on TikTok. Let the world see. Okay, get like China. You gotta be ghetto about it. Just let people know.
What started as a few low-profile TikTok videos has now spiraled into an international PR nightmare. Chinese manufacturers, many of whom claim to have previously worked directly or indirectly in luxury bag production, have gone rogue. They're showing alleged receipts, sharing behind-the-scenes images, and uploading footage from factory floors. According to them, the Hermès bag you thought was handcrafted in a serene French atelier with a croissant on the side, allegedly pumped out in bulk in China, at a production cost that wouldn't even cover the tax on a Paris boutique price tag. The videos don't just claim that parts of the bag are made overseas, they suggest that nearly everything is, with final stitching or a last-second hardware tweak being done in France, just to slap on the Made in France label. And the markup? A jaw-dropping 90% according to some of the exposés. One TikTok clip even claims that a $30,000 Birkin costs less than $500 to make, with one worker mockingly holding up a nearly finished bag and saying, "You're paying for a logo, not labor." The backlash online has been vicious. Comment sections are filled with furious former customers demanding refunds and calling the brand fraudulent, manipulative, and a masterclass in marketing over morality. Some influencers have even filmed themselves returning Hermès items or vowing to boycott the brand altogether. And Hermès? Silent. Their polished Instagram feed continues posting dreamy leather shots and seasonal color reveals, acting as if this digital uprising isn't happening. But the internet never forgets, and consumers are starting to look closer at those French-made tags.
And a Louis Vuitton that they got at the designer store, because I need to see a side-by-side. I have to know if there's any discrepancies or any differences, or is it the exact same thing? Because I'm starting to feel ripped the fuck off right now. I got a closet full of this shit that I paid thousands for. And you're telling me it's all been made in China and I could have just gone straight to China and gotten this shit? It just can't be the same. It cannot be the same. And if it is, damn, we all got played. Well, not all of us, but a lot of us. Seriously, please don't tell me I got played. I refuse to believe that there's no difference.
This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD.
Have y'all seen that TikTok by the Chinese guy exposing how luxury goods are actually made? The only real difference? China ships the products to Europe, slaps on a Made in France or Made in Italy label, and boom, luxury? It's ridiculous.
As if the global backlash from the manufacturing expose weren't enough, Hermès is now under siege in American courtrooms. A class action lawsuit filed in California is accusing the brand of operating like a manipulative gatekeeper, allegedly using tying sales tactics that force customers to buy thousands of dollars in other Hermès products just to qualify for the privilege of purchasing a Birkin. That's right, not to own one, but to even be considered for one. This isn't a small claim, it's potentially a legal time bomb. Plaintiffs are arguing that Hermès sales practices violate antitrust laws by unfairly leveraging the demand for a single product, the Birkin, to drive sales across their entire line. Customers allege they've had to spend upwards of $10,000 on belts, shoes, and homeware they didn't want or need just to land on a so-called wish list. Worse, the lawsuit threatens to blow open Hermès' famously guarded retail strategy. Sales associates reportedly use a secretive profile ranking system, allegedly rewarding high spenders with Birkin access while denying less lucrative customers with vague excuses like no stock. And now that system might be dragged into the public eye. Subpoenas could force Hermès to reveal internal communications, sales quotas, client rankings, things they've kept under lock and key for decades. Industry insiders are panicking. If the court compels Hermès to disclose how they've manipulated supply and demand, it could redefine what luxury retail means in America. Because once that curtain is pulled back, it won't just be Hermès on trial, it'll be the entire illusion of exclusivity that luxury brands thrive on.
It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. Put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
Under siege from both viral allegations and a courtroom battle that could shake the entire luxury industry, Hermès has gone into what critics are calling full-blown reputation rehab mode. In an official statement, the brand reaffirmed its long-standing commitment to artisanal excellence and full transparency. They doubled down on their claim that each bag is handcrafted in France by a single artisan, with meticulous attention to detail and a timeline that spans upwards of 20 hours per unit. But then came the real announcement. Hermès is opening even more manufacturing sites, this time publicly flaunting its expansion across rural France. In Colombelles, Riom, and Louviers, new workshops are being established with photo ops, ribbon cuttings, and statements about supporting French labor and preserving heritage techniques. On the surface, it's a bold flex, the kind of move you'd expect from a brand that's confident in its identity.
You can continue to expose all of these retailers, nobody's going to care.
I am about to crash.
Y'all would never catch me in nothing fake. No fake earrings, no fake bracelets, no fake shoes, nothing fake designer. It's gonna be a no for me.
Out.
But critics aren't buying it. Instead of applauding the initiative, many see it as performative damage control, a desperate scramble to re-anchor the Made in France label after the Chinese manufacturing exposés went viral. Commentators online were quick to point out that these factories were likely planned long before the scandal, but suddenly they've become a central talking point in Hermès' public response. Why now? Why so loud? And why so curated? Some even suggest this PR blitz is less about jobs in Normandy and more about silencing the backlash. It's the oldest trick in the luxury playbook. When caught red-handed, distract with heritage, artisanship, and nostalgia. But in 2025, the audience isn't that easy to fool. The question everyone's asking, is Hermès genuinely doubling down on transparency or just doubling down on optics? For decades, Hermès has existed in a different stratosphere, a brand so elite, so untouchable that even questioning its price tags felt like poor taste. But now, that air of untouchability is unraveling. The combined weight of viral factory exposés and an American class action lawsuit is not just bruising their reputation, it's gutting it. Consumers who once worshipped the orange box are starting to peel back the layers and question what they've been sold all these years. If the alleged Chinese manufacturing is even partly true, it means customers weren't just overpaying for status, they were deceived about what that status was built on. And that realization, it's toxic for a brand built entirely on trust, legacy, and the illusion of scarcity. The fallout is already visible. TikTok is flooded with dupe culture videos, users flaunting $100 replicas while dragging Hermès for their alleged hypocrisy. Reddit threads dissect every factory opening, every sales associate whisper, every lawsuit update. Even some celebrities known for flexing their Hermès collections have quietly pivoted, opting for quieter labels or vintage alternatives. The shine is dimming, and fast. What's worse, this isn't just about Hermès. It's about what happens when the fantasy of luxury collides with the reality of globalization. People are realizing that they've been paying $25,000 not for craftsmanship, but for a carefully engineered illusion. And once that illusion cracks, it's nearly impossible to glue back together. Hermès isn't just losing control of the narrative, it's losing control of its identity. And in a world where authenticity now ranks higher than exclusivity, that could be the beginning of a luxury reckoning far bigger than one brand. When it comes to luxury fashion influence, no one moves the needle quite like Kylie Jenner. A single post from her can send a handbag into sold-out oblivion or spark a waitlist that lasts for years. And when it comes to Hermès, she's long been one of their most visible and profitable unofficial ambassadors. Her closet tour videos, stacked wall-to-wall with Birkins in every size, color, and exotic skin imaginable. For years, she represented the modern Hermès fantasy, young, rich, and dripping in exclusivity. So when the Hermès scandal exploded online, complete with Chinese factory exposés, a class action lawsuit, and thousands of furious customers, people naturally turned to Kylie. Would she defend the brand? Would she stay loyal? Or would she quietly distance herself the way she has from other canceled luxury labels? What happened next stunned her fan base. Kylie didn't say a word. No Instagram posts, no TikToks, no statements from Chris. In fact, fans began noticing something even more telling. She stopped carrying Hermès bags altogether. Over the span of several weeks, her usual parade of Birkins and Kellys vanished from her feed. Instead, she was spotted with rare Chanel, custom Balenciaga, and even indie handbags from up-and-coming designers. The Birkin wall never shown again. For Hermès, that silence may have been louder than any celebrity attack. Because unlike Bethany Frankel, Kylie didn't need to say anything. Her brand is visual. Her message is image. And when the image no longer includes Hermès, that's a death sentence in the world of luxury optics. Fashion houses rely on aspirational figures to keep the illusion alive. When one of the most followed women in the world silently steps off the stage, it sends a ripple across millions of wardrobes. Hermès didn't just lose a client, they lost a cultural symbol. And what happens next could determine whether the brand can still hold court in a Gen Z world that's no longer afraid to ask, but who really made this? And why are we paying so much for it? Hermès stands at a pivotal moment, facing the challenge of maintaining its legacy while adapting to demands for transparency and ethical practices. As the luxury industry grapples with these revelations, brands may need to reevaluate their strategies to align with evolving consumer expectations. The future of luxury branding could hinge on authenticity, ethical production, and genuine value, rather than solely on exclusivity and prestige.